We have so much to talk about today. We have the Epstein list was, they said it was released. We'll talk about that today. We're also going to be talking a little bit about Trump and Zelensky. They had a little bit of a fiery fight today in the White House. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Saudi Arabia's crazy plans and more on this episode of Here's the Dill. The Epstein list has finally been released, kind of. So yesterday, the White House turned the Epstein files into reality TV. Conservative stars kind of showed up, and they had these binders with the Epstein files and the DOJ stamped on the front of their binders. And the day before that, Bondi promised a gut punch, and we ended up just getting a rerun of information we already knew. Let's react to the clip of Bondi promising the American people that we would have the Epstein files. Let's react.
One of the things a lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims, 200. So we have over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
That's a big promise. And when she said that, everyone got excited. They said, now is finally the time. We finally have the moment right here that we are going to get all the information that we've been asking for, dreaming for. So this is the images from yesterday. You have DC Drano, you have Liz Wheeler, you have Scott Pressler. I think that's the girl that runs Libas of TikTok. They come out, and here's a better picture. Let me blow this up real quick. And on the binder, it has the Epstein files, phase 1, declassified across the top with the Department of Justice symbol right there for us to see. And a lot of people got mad about it, not so much because of the kind of photo shoot of these things, right? They got mad at it because there was nothing in here that we didn't already know. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second, but they already had pretty much everything that was shared. There's no new information in here. You can Google now, and we'll show you maybe in post that Liz Wheeler, DC Drano, they all went live. They opened their binder, kind of like in this coordinated, this is what they're supposed to do. Using X to get this information out to the American public. Most of the pages had Sharpie marks across the whole thing. And on top of that, there were no names. None. When we talk about the Epstein list, we don't need flight logs of dates. We need names. So Pam Bondi responded to this. And she said that she said in a letter to Kash Patel, who is the new FBI director, she said in a letter to him that basically the FBI has been lying to her and lying to the Department of Justice and not providing all of the Epstein information. To her knowledge, when she went on Fox News to say all this stuff, she believed that they did have all the Epstein files. And turns out that is not true. So currently, this is what you have. This is the situation. You have Pam Bondi, who went on Fox News, getting everyone excited that the Epstein list of the most gross, disgusting people that deserve to be in jail, if not put to death, for the evilness that happened on that island. That list is what we're talking about. It's not some game of show and tell to be like, look, we're releasing the list. Like, this is a big deal. This is the list that criminals and our politicians and actors and people that they don't want this list to come out. Pam Bondi is saying the FBI is stiff-arming her and not providing all the information. But when she went on Fox News, that she believed that it was that she did have all the files, and turns out that's not true. So some people believe her. Other people are saying this is just a lame publicity stunt. There was a swing and a miss by the Trump administration to try to get people, off their heels, because Trump did promise that he would release the Epstein files, and this was their way, I guess, to try to do that. So what do you guys think? Was this why do you think they came out with this information? Was it to try to show the transparency of, we released what we had, this is all we have, this is what we have, like we were going to release this to the public. We're trying to be the most transparent administration, and so this is what we have available to us. Here you go, American people. Or do you think it would have been a better idea for them to hold off until they have really what everyone wants, which is the list? The other thing that was kind of wrong about this whole situation is the GOP Judiciary Committee on X. They posted a link, and I can't believe whoever was in charge of the GOP's Twitter is at this point has to be fired, because I can't really believe that they did this. The GOP Twitter account, or X account, said breaking, a little red little siren symbol there. The Epstein files, they're being released. Here they are. Epstein files version 2. And originally what people thought too is because on the binder it said ESPN files phase 1. They're like, oh my goodness, here's the list. Here it is. Guys, this got community noted. You can read it here. When people would go and click on this link, it wouldn't take them to a file. It took them to like a Google Drive file, that then when they opened that link, it took them to the Rickroll video. And if you don't know what it means to be Rickrolled, it's Rick Astley music video that plays the song. This is called being Rickrolled. It's like a joke. And this was done in very bad taste. In fact, you're going to have a bunch of people you'll see, and they actually deleted this tweet at this point. But I understand that maybe they thought this would be a funny joke, or maybe something that people would laugh at. But the Epstein files isn't a joke. It's something the American people have wanted for a very long time. And this was just a very poor taste by whoever is running this account to make a joke of releasing the files, when in reality, American people want to see the files. So to me, what's my takeaway? The only way that they fix this is to release the list. Now, I personally don't believe the list exists anymore. I think it's been so long that the deepest state and the people that are in charge have gotten rid of that list, because there is no way they're letting that list go out. And the only way that they get rid of that list is they got to destroy it. So in my opinion, I'd be shocked if that list is real. And if Bondi's claims are correct and the FBI is stiff-arming the Department of Justice, Kash Patel has to go in there quickly, get it fixed, and get this released to the American public. That's the only way that can make this this bad look fixed. Now, I have a little bit different opinion. I had a lot of friends actually on Twitter getting really mad at the publicity stunt that happened. And don't get me wrong. I completely understand the frustration of having, DC Drano and Liz Wheeler and some other people kind of smiling with a binder full of nothing. But I think what Trump administration was trying to portray is that they were trying to portray that no longer does the legacy media have an own breaking news. I think what they're trying to portray is that actually the people and smaller influencers, or even the big influencers that are not paid or not part of corporate media, that they're going to get the scoop first. And I think it was a very intentional thing that I think the Trump administration was hoping would go well, and hoping that the American people would see that and say, wow, the Trump administration is choosing individuals to break this information out to the American public and not choosing Fox, not choosing CNN. I don't think it went the way they wanted to, but hey, we maybe are one step closer to getting the list, but that's the only way they're going to fix this. All right, let's go next. Today, Literally today, as I was prepping for this show, I had to slip this in there. Trump and Zelensky got into it today. This is what happened. Today, President Zelensky and Donald Trump met in the Oval Office. And this is pretty much what they were going through. Trump wants Ukraine's rare earth minerals to offset U.S. aid. I think it looked like what? The United States have paid $64 billion to Ukraine since 2022. Billion with a B. It's north of 60. I could have the number wrong, but it is north of 60. The United States, okay, $60 billion we've given to this country. So Trump says, hey, I want some of your minerals to offset some of the money that we poured into your country. And and in return, what Zelensky says is then you have to guarantee protection against Russia. And that's kind of the stalemate. And so what happened today is Zelensky got a little snarky and kind of came at the president and the vice president. And J.D. Vance was having none of it.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are not strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Pause. That was his mistake. Zelensky screwed up here. Trump was sitting there quietly. And you guys need to watch the full interview because I know this is just a clip. Right before this, Zelensky was blaming the administration for the situation they're in. That's what J.D. Vance took offense to, and rightfully so. But this is where this is where Zelensky made a serious error. I wanted to go back a little bit. Listen to what he says. Listen.
Don't feel now, but you have problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
He said, J.D. Vance asked him if Ukraine was having problems, pretty much having a military. And instead of answering that question, Zelensky tried to flip it. And he said, no, you, America, you, President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, you guys have problems, but you have a big ocean. And so you haven't experienced them yet, but you will in the future. That's a threat. Or at least it comes off as a threat saying, hey, America, you have this ocean to protect you, but, you don't know what the future holds, so y'all better be careful. This is when Donald Trump took offense to that. Let's keep watching.
Well, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this.
I'm not
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
I'm not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this entire meeting, you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
America's given Ukraine over $60 billion. That's a fact. of taxpayers, your and my money. And this guy wants to come into the Oval Office, make demands, blame the administration, blame the country for not helping enough. After we have given as one country, like almost what all of Europe has. Europe did a little over 100 billion to Ukraine. That's wild. Zelensky I think when Zelensky challenged the United States, that's when he really messed up. So yeah, what do you guys think about this whole Ukraine thing? At this point, should we just pull out completely? Do you think that we should keep helping Ukraine? I truly believe Donald Trump is trying to get a deal done. And right now it seems that Zelensky, Putin, and Trump, they're all three not on the same page. I think their goal was to hopefully have a deal done today. It's currently Donald Trump has canceled the press conference after their meeting, and they're currently not at a deal yet. But what do you think should happen? Do you think the U.S. should completely, pull out from Ukraine, stop funding the war, and let what happens happens? Or do you think that we should keep staying involved? Let me know in the comments of this video. Okay, this is actually the most exciting thing that I want to talk about on today's show. This story all came from me one night watching YouTube, and it's about Saudi Arabia, of all places. It's about Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has a big bet that they're doing right now. They're in trouble. And let me explain why they're in trouble. Currently, oil is 40% of the GDP for Saudi Arabia. And they are seeing what happens in the future, and they're getting a little worried. They're saying, if energy changes, if electrical takes over, if hydrogen takes over, if nuclear takes over, and oil is not a necessity, our riches are gone. They see this problem coming. And so they have decided to do something very, very interesting. They have created a plan, and it is something called NEOM. NEOM is what Saudi Arabia believes is their future, right? Because like I said, oil is 40% of the GDP. They believe that NEOM adds 48 billion, 460,000 jobs by 2030, and gets tourism to 100 million visitors. So what is NEOM? It is an opportunity that they believe is going to get a lot of Westerners, Europe, everyone to Saudi Arabia. And they're doing that in a couple different ways. One is called the line. And you can see here, the line is literally this massive 170 kilometer mirrored city that's 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide. And the goal is to have 9 million residents with zero carbon, high speed transit. It's literally a city through the middle of the desert. That's their goal. And so let's watch a little clip about Saudi Arabia.
This is NEOM, or here to be more precise, in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. But NEOM is more than a place. It's a home for people who dream big. Bigger than that. That's more like it. It'll be a hub for innovation, an entirely new model for sustainable living. The vision for a new future. In fact, that's how it got its name. But what will be there? There's Oxagon, a thriving city at the crossroads of the world, where advanced manufacturing will enable industries of the future. Trojana, a year-round mountain destination. And just remember to pack your skis when you visit. Or if skiing's not your thing, there's always Sindala, one of NEOM's many beautiful islands, perfect for some R&R. And a line, a 500-meter high, 200-meter wide, 170-kilometer long city in the shape of, well, a line. No roads, cars, or emissions. And everything its 9 million residents could ever need within a 5-minute walk. But best of all, the entire region will offer unparalleled access to nature and will be powered by clean energy. All within easy reach of the rest of the world. But how will NEOM achieve these aims, you may ask? Within NEOM are 14 sectors, spearheaded by the world's best talent. Each sector has been designed to advance technology and push the very limits of human knowledge. Imagine NEOM as a prototype for a better future, a future for all. One being built to last. Sound good? Great. So when the world asks, what is NEOM? You'll know to answer that NEOM's a place that'll change the way we live on this planet. Simple, really.
That's Saudi Arabia's big plan, NEOM. It's going to be a multi-city, multi-kind of location plan of some research, resorts, this multiple like vertical mirrored city going through the desert. It's like, what did I say earlier? 170 kilometer city. How much is this going to cost? That's a great question. About $2 trillion. What's the timeline for this project? That's a great question. They're hoping to get 5 kilometers of the city done, of the line done that they're creating by 2030, and hopefully have 300,000 residents. The goal is to have the full 170 kilometer city finished by 2045. So what about 20 years from now? NEOM, the Sandala, the Trohena, and the Oxygen, those are all the kind of like different sectors of it, of NEOM. Sandala is apparently done in 2025. Trohena's done in 2026. And the last phases are going to be done into the 2030s. Again, they believe that the oil will peak forever in 2030. That's what they believe. And they are trying to create their next future, their next billion-dollar empire. So what are the problems that we see with this? Well, first of all, guys, we're talking about Saudi Arabia here. Like, we're talking about a culture that in the past hasn't been very kind to Westerners. Like, we're talking about a culture that generally is very demeaning towards women. A culture that in the past has not been really around to help in any capacity. And now they're trying to be like Dubai. They're trying to turn a once not very kind country to the Western world. Now they're trying to be the most welcoming country. In fact, there was a story about Saudi Arabia. They actually did pay people to move because the city of the line that they're moving to, and I'm probably going to bring that back up so you guys can just have that playing. The city that they are bringing people to and building the city, and the people that they're displacing, they are paying. And they are paying for them to move out of the way and get readjusted in a new spot. But there was a story of a man who did not want to move. You have to keep in mind, a lot of these cities and these homes have been in these families for generations. And you also have the Bedouins, who are like wilderness people. They live in the desert and they keep wandering through the desert with their herd. They don't want to be displaced from this city either. And so you actually had a petition of Bedouins and people signing this that they did not want this city. And then, in fact, you did have one person go online and make a video saying that he is not leaving, that the Saudi government is forcing family out of their home for these resorts, for all these things, and he was not moving. Well, that person is dead now. He died in a shootout with police because he would not leave his home when they were trying to demolish it. The other thing to keep in mind is that Saudi Arabia is not a democracy. It's a dictatorship. There's a king there. And they're trying to create a world that's welcoming to Westerners, and they have a massive, massive job. Like, to me, and I don't know what you guys think about this, let me know in the comments. This seems like, of the challenges they have, of the technology challenges, the building challenges, of building this city, building these resorts, building these research cities, getting it powered, all of those things, those are all like engineering marvels if they can pull it off. But even if they pull it off, their biggest challenge is the rest of the world, is convincing the rest of the world to come here, live here, work here, participate here, vacation here. That's their biggest issue. It's not going to be just the cost or just the engineering of it. It's, can they convince Americans to come here? That's the question. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this is a good plan for Saudi Arabia? Do you guys like the concept? Would you visit Saudi Arabia? Would you vacation there? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe. Appreciate you guys a lot. All right. Next, I want to talk about a trip that I now have done 2 months ago. I kind of haven't had an opportunity to record a show. Like, this is the 4th show in like 4 months, and I've been sick and I'm finally feeling better. So let me just kind of explain like a little bit about this. I went to AmFest. And for those that don't know what AmFest is the biggest conservative pretty much conference in the world. It's held by Turning Point, led by Charlie Kirk, and it was in Arizona. And I was asked to be on Media Row, which was an absolutely incredible opportunity. I want to watch a little bit to give you guys a behind the scenes of AmFest. Keep in mind, guys, this is the biggest conservative event in the world. There was everyone there. President Trump spoke. Donald Trump Jr. was there. I talked to Danica Patrick, which we're going to talk about in a second. But we actually did a full behind the scenes of this experience. Trevor and I literally took a camera everywhere, in the airport, in the hotel. Like, literally, we had the camera going because we want to give you guys a full experience of what it would be like to be on Media Row in an event this big. Over 20,000 people came to this, by the way, in Phoenix, Arizona. But let's just react to and just play the beginning. So I apologize. There you go. AmFest, y'all, this is insane. Dude, Donald Trump's gonna be talking from there like this week. All right, guys, here we go. Look at, oh my goodness. Look at all these people.
Yeah, you're definitely getting.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, no one's gonna see our talk today. We might as well just stop.
We'll do all the right. Please don't touch the
We'll wrap up at 15 minutes. I could talk to you for another hour. You've been lovely. Thank you so much.
You've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Guys, Pastor John, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Making a difference.
Yeah, you gotta.
Come say hi.
Come on in. Come
say hi. So this is not really official, but we just got invited to an exclusive Michael Knowles party tonight. Okay. That is the video in a nutshell. Like, it is... I still can't really believe everything that happened while we were at AmFest. I really can't. There were so many things. Let me give you a couple of highlights. We did 28 interviews in 3 days. 28 interviews in 3 days. We were invited to exclusive parties. We had a crazy Uber ride where it was a completely driverless Jaguar car. We had insane networking opportunities. The amount of people, I probably came home with over 100 business cards. We met Danica Patrick, Cliff Maloney, Callie Means, some other just absolutely great people. I was interviewed by Parler. Yes, Parler, like the social app. I was interviewed by them, which was the first time I think I've ever been interviewed for anything. And it was absolutely incredible. We have so many updates on Parler, by the way. Stay tuned. We have some really exciting content with Parler and about their story coming up in a different episode. And then I literally met some friends for life. I'd like to shout out Siaka Massaquoi, Jarrett Lamaster, even Danica Patrick, and some of the other people, Cliff Maloney. I've just texted Cliff the other day. These people single-handedly made the AmFest trip. Because, guys, keep in mind, Trevor and I have never done anything like this before, ever. Like, we literally just picked our stuff up, put it in suitcases, flew to Arizona, and interviewed people. I can't thank people like Siaka and Jared enough for making our trip so special. Michael Knowles crashed our party, which was absolute blast. And just a couple other takeaways. People were so nice there. People genuinely wanted to help. I didn't know what the vibes of a conference like this would be. And the amount of smiling, laughing, kindness that was shown to us, small show podcaster, was so overwhelming. And I would like to thank everyone that was a part of making our AmFest so special. I'd like to shout out Aubrey, who works for Turning Point. She was the one that kind of the mastermind behind all of it. Thank you to Aubrey for all your hard work, guys. AmFest was crazy, and I wanted to share this with you as well. This little part of everything. We're gonna keep reacting to this video. There we go. Let's do this scene. Okay. So when we first got to AmFest, we kind of got there, and this was our first time walking into the venue. My heart was absolutely pounding. Like, look how big this place is. Of course, there's going to be ads on the channel. I should have downloaded this video. That would have been way better. Okay. This is how big this thing was, y'all. This is cool. Shout out to Turning Point for giving us free VIP tickets. That was so kind.
Guys, check this out.
All right, this is our booth. So this is what they look like. Just like a black curtain.
We to transform this booth into pretty much my podcast, Home Away from Home. We bought all the curtains. We have this freshly made banner. We have the whole podcast set up. We literally have anything that someone would want. We have lapel mics. We have podcast mics. So enjoy. Next time, we're going to give you guys progressions of the build.
That's what it looked like. Now watch this little transition into the show. And pow. Hey! Literally, it's the studio. It's this studio that we just picked up and we brought literally right there.
We have a couple more cable
Oh, man. Guys, I can't tell you how stressed we were doing this. We have never done anything like this before, ever. Just on a whim. Trevor had to run to Walmart because we forgot some things. So the fact that the studio looked as good as it did was just an absolute blessing. I'm going to fast forward to, this was the walk over. Like, guys, right here, I was freaking out.
On Saturday with Parlor, Friday with Parlor too, tomorrow. So that's going to be some exciting things. So, here we go.
I feel like I'm making the Dylan movie.
Shout out to Trevor Baker, guys. Trevor Baker.
I don't want to pretend I'm not nervous.
Trevor Baker left his family. This was a week before Christmas to come pretty much produce for me for the week. And I appreciate that so much. Here's Cliff Maloney, Brian. Guys, this is Brian Ferry. Okay. He has created a blockchain called Optio that now powers Parlor. This is an interview you must watch. This interview is available on my YouTube channel. I have so many things happening behind the scenes right now. Partnership with Brian, Optio, and Parlor is one of those things, and I can't wait to share with you guys. But at least for the time being, watch this podcast. Based Records was amazing. They do conservative kind of things. Cliff Maloney, shout out Cliff Maloney, man. Cliff Maloney was pretty much the single reason why Trump won Pennsylvania. Him and Scott Pressler. So shout out Cliff Maloney. Cliff Maloney has just turned into a great, honestly, a friend and a really great guy.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, no one's gonna see our talk today. We might as well just stop. So that was the first day, Thursday. Then we kind of went through the following day, ate some breakfast, had a busy day. This was the day that I was freaking out because this is when Danica Patrick came on, guys. That's awesome. How was your speech earlier? How'd that go? Danica Patrick. Dill in England. The No Name podcast from Detroit is talking to Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick, I saw my whole life growing up, racing, GoDaddy commercials, all the things on Sundays after church. This was probably the most surreal moment for me because when I started this podcast a year and a half ago and you told me a year and a half later I'd be at the biggest conservative event in the world interviewing Danica Patrick, I would have said you're crazy. And yeah, here we are. Yeah, I was trying to tune in, but I had guests on at the same time.
Yeah,
so
it's hard to do.
Callie Means, James O'Keefe,
I walked into
Siaka. I love this man to death. This man literally changed the whole trajectory of our trip by the introductions he made. And in fact, he introduced me to, honestly, one of my favorite conservative talk show hosts.
And from then on, it was like, Knowles.
Guys, you could see my face right here. I was freaking out.
Yeah, you gotta
come say hi.
Come on in.
Come say hi. Okay, Michael comes in, handshake, hand tap. Siaka says you should be on his show. Michael says let's do it.
Are you going back?
Fiddle. Look, the hands, the nervous hands right here, me fiddling out.
Over there, you done? Yeah, we're gonna do it tonight. Yeah.
He invited us, actually. And then Michael Knowles invited us to a Mayflower cigar event. Are you kidding me right now? Now, legitimately, I don't get like celebrity the shakes like, oh my gosh, it's this person, I'm freaking out. But Michael Knowles is really the inspiration behind this show, Here's the Dill. Like watching the Michael Knowles show, I thought, man, that is awesome. I love the way he conducts himself. I love how informed he is. I feel like I could do something like this. And so Michael Knowles was literally the show that I used to kind of create this show. So to see him there, it was the first time outside of Danica that I was like, holy crap, this is wild. And you could see just like the nervous hands that I had. And then for Michael to invite us to a Daily Wire Mayflower cigar event that night that he was hosting, that was just cherry on the cake. Look how freaked out excited I get like after this interview. Look at this.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
I couldn't even talk.
Dude, so good to see
I
you.
was so excited.
See you, Michael. Bye.
That's so cool. That was a good interruption.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
We'll let that one slide.
We'll let it slide. I was playing it cool, guys. I was playing it cool.
Full time here I'm supposed to get.
So this is not really official, but we just got invited to an exclusive Michael Knowles party tonight. My heart is beating at a million Michaels a second. He invited us, actually. We just got invited to an exclusive Michael Knowles party tonight. My heart is beating at a million Michaels a second.
I was nervous. Okay. Michael was honestly Michael Knowles was probably the main person that I wanted to meet here. I was nervous here, and I said my heart's beating 1 million Michaels per second. I wouldn't say minutes per second, but meeting Michael Knowles, we actually met Michael Knowles later that night. We ended up going to the event. Thank you guys. We're going to wrap up the show with that. I honestly just want to thank everyone that has supported me with the podcast. The Dill in England show is still going on. So the Dill in England show, make sure you follow the Dill in England show, Apple, Spotify, everywhere. And Here's the Dill as well will be its own separate podcast. So make sure you follow Here's the Dill. That's going to be more of this type of show. It's just me talking through political events, talking through current events, exciting stories, things that I want to talk about. But thank you guys for coming in for this show. I honestly really appreciate the support. We have merch. Don't forget to check out merch. Go to dillinengland.com to get your merch. Please consider checking it out as we end the show. What'd you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Did you like this format? Was it too short? Was it too long? Did you like what we reacted to? Shout out to AmFest, Turning Point. Let me know what you guys think about the Trump thing, the Epstein thing, and all of it. Again, have a blessed day. Stay safe. Stay informed. Think freely. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Here's the Dill. Have a great weekend.